Okay, so common question we get asked is, what pinball machine should I buy? And that's probably the most difficult thing to answer, but also the most easy, because just buy whichever one you want. It's up to you. In terms of guiding you, I would say get something that resonates with you in terms of a license. So if you want to buy a licensed pinball machine, so we've got examples here of Terminator 3, Guns N' Roses and Star Trek. So a licensed machine is basically where that machine is based upon either a movie, it's based on a pop band, music band, it's a music license, or TV show. Star Trek obviously originated as a TV show. And if you're really into that thing, then getting a pinball for that is a great thing to do. The only caveat I would add to that is don't necessarily rush out and go and say, right, so I'll give you an example, Back to the Future. I love Back to the Future. If you rush out and buy a Back to the Future pinball machine, I think you'll be disappointed. It's not a great game. It doesn't look amazing. They couldn't get the licenses for lots of parts of the artwork. So you've got characters there that actually do not look like the proper characters in Back to the Future. And so I would steer clear of Back to the Future pinball machine as a result of that. If you own one of those, I'm sorry for saying that, but that's just my personal opinion. And that's the important thing, is this is all about opinions. It's what resonates with you personally. You might love Terminator. You might really like the original Terminator movie or Terminator 2, but maybe Terminator 3, you didn't really like that movie, in which case get a Terminator 2 pinball, don't buy a Terminator 3 pinball machine. In terms of music, there have been loads of really good music-based pins. Guns N' Roses is a great game. The gameplay is really good, so it's always about trying to marry up a great license, great music, as a background to you playing it. It's got really good range of songs from Guns N' Roses on there, and I really like the gameplay on it. Some people will say, I actually don't really like playing Guns N' Roses. I actually think it's really quite cool. I like it as a pinball. And you can get, Metallica, AC/DC, Aerosmith. So, you can probably find a band that you may well like has been made into a pinball machine. But I would just say, don't just buy that pinball because you like the band. Play it, make sure you do like it. Actually, in all of those, I'd say they're all pretty good pinball machines as well as having a good license. Talking about non-licensed games, in the 90s, Bally Williams were making some amazing non-licensed games. So Theatre of Magic, for example, Attack from Mars, Medieval Madness are amongst the most collectible, valuable and greatest playing pinball machines that were made, and they're not a license. So if you are buying a pinball machine and you're looking at a machine that's not a license, don't write it off because it's not something you've heard of. Play the game, that's the most important thing. Play it, because they are really good fun. The reason that they're so collectible is because they're just great fun to play. Do some research on the internet. So there are a whole load of forums in the UK. You can go on to Pinball Info, you can go on to pinside.com, you can go onto the Internet Pinball Database, and they'll all give you review scores and what people think about pinball machines. And it's a great place. It's great fun to actually just go through all those websites, do some research into pinballs, find out the history of them. Or you might even decide to buy pinballs based upon the designer. So there are some eminent designers, so Pat Lawler, Steve Ritchie, are two great pinball designers that people sort of say they really like a Steve Ritchie game, and they'll look for other machines that have been made by those designers back in the time. So that sort of gives you a bit of guidance on what pinball I should buy, but really I'm going to come back to what I said at the beginning. It's down to you, but do your research. We've got 20 pinballs. We keep 20 pinballs on display in our showrooms all the time. So if you want to come down and have a play, you can do that. They're all on free play, and see what fun they are to play. The most important thing is it's fun to play. If you buy a licensed machine, if it's not fun to play, it might look cool to sit there, but you won't play it, and there's no point having a pinball machine if you don't play it and it isn't fun, and your friends and family come around and play it. They should be able to get some fun out of that game. So I'd say really, that's my advice, buy the one that's most fun. I hope that helps.